Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, for today, I'd like to take you guys back to the great Lin-Manuel Miranda. For those who may not be familiar with this musical genius, he's an American actor, singer, songwriter, playwright, and filmmaker who's best known for writing and composing freestyle rap and salsa numbers for his stage musicals and movies. In the past, I did mention that he did co-write the songs for Disney's Moana, and he played Jack in Mary Poppins Returns. Plus, I even saw his live stage recording of Hamilton both on pay-per-view and Disney Plus while under COVID lockdown 2 years ago. Also, last year was a really crazy but busy year for Mr. Miranda when he had his directorial debut with Tick Tick Boom on Netflix. Also, he even wrote songs for Disney's animated Oscar champion Encanto and Sony's Vivo, where he voiced the titular Kinkajou. But during the summer of that very year, Lin-Manuel Miranda's first stage musical was made into a movie, and that's the subject of my blog today. So, released on June 10th, 2021, the movie is In the Heights. Now, on for the plot of the movie. This film focuses on a variety of characters living in the neighborhood of Washington Heights on the northern tip of Manhattan. At the center of the film is Usnavi, a bodega owner who looks after the aging Cuban lady next door, pines for the gorgeous girl working in the neighborhood beauty salon, and dreams of winning the lottery and escaping to the shores of his native Dominican Republic. Meanwhile, Nina, a childhood friend of Usnavi's, has returned to the neighborhood from her first year of college with surprising news from her parents, who have spent their lives saving on building a better life for their daughter. Ultimately, Usnavi and the residents of the close-knit neighborhood get a dose of what it means to be home. Now, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, in my personal opinion, this film was actually fantastic. And believe it or not, this was the second movie that I saw in theaters where I received a digital Regal crown. However, while this movie was a major hit on HBO Max, it was sadly a box office bomb in theaters. But let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, In the Heights was originally set to be adapted by Universal Studios in 2008, with Kenny Ortega hired to direct it. After that version fell through, the project was eventually started back up in 2016, with the director being John M. Chu, who previously directed some of the Step Up sequels, Gem and the Holograms, and he will soon direct Oh the Places You'll Go and Wicked. Also, the film's choreography was done by Christopher Scott, who had worked with John M. Chu on the YouTube series The LXD, as well as the films Step Up Revolution and Step Up All In. Filming began on June 3rd, 2019 in New York City. The bulk of filming was done at the intersection of 175th Street and Audubon Avenue, where STO Domenico Grocery Store Inc. was used as the exterior of the bodega. Other filming locations in the movie include the High Bridge Pool, Brooklyn 9th Avenue Station, the New York Transit Museum, and the 191st Street Station. Lastly to note, the film was dedicated to the memory of Doreen Montalvo, a member of the original Broadway cast who appears in the movie as one of the singers during the song Breathe, and she reprised her role as the bolero singer performing Sempre. Montalvo died in October of 2020 after the film's postponed release date. Now, as we all know, In the Heights was Lin-Manuel Miranda's very first stage musical that he ever made possible. Sadly, I can't compare this movie to the stage version due to the fact that I have not seen it on stage yet. However, as I said during my top 10 films based on a stage musical, this film has a relatable and serious story. I love the setting in the Washington Heights. I think the choreography is amazing, Also, I thought the blackout scene in the middle of the film was really intense. Also to note, even though I'm not the biggest fan of rap music, some of my favorite songs in this movie include the title song, In the Heights, 96,000, Champagne, and Alabanza. And now let's move on to the film's cast. Our main character, Usnavi de la Vega, is played by Anthony Ramos, whom has been in A Star is Born, Hamilton, Trolls World Tour, Elena of Avalor, and just recently voiced in DreamWorks' The Bad Guys. Usnavi owns the bodega, and he works there alongside his cousin Sonny. While he loves living in the Barrero, he is conflicted with his own dreams of returning to the Dominican Republic. To me, I think Usnavi is loyal, respectable, and practical. Also, he is greatly admired by everybody in his community. Next is Vanessa, played by Melissa Barrera, whom was recently in the 5th Scream movie. Vanessa is Usnavi's love interest, who works at Daniela's salon. To me, she is stunningly beautiful, and she catches the eye of every guy in the Heights. She lives with an alcoholic mother, and she dreams of getting out of the Barrero and getting an apartment downtown, but sadly, she cannot yet afford it. Next is Abuela Claudia, played by Olga Mercedes, whom was in Evita and Mr. Popper's Penguins. Abuela Claudia was the matriarch of the Barrero. She raises Usnavi after his parents passed away, and she becomes a surrogate grandmother to many people in the Barrero. To me, Claudia is a kind and generous character, and I felt really sad when she died as a result of the intense heat and her neglecting her medication. We also have Nina Rosario, played by Leslie Grace, whom will soon play Batgirl later this year on HBO Max. Nina is the first person in her family to go to college at Stanford University, and everyone in the barrio admires her as the one who made it out. However, she returns home from school for the summer to reluctantly tell her parents that she has become overburdened and dropped out. To me, Nina is the typical good girl and always gets along with her parents. Now, though, she loses patience constantly over her father's overprotectiveness and his refusal to accept Benny, who loves Nina. Rounding out the cast is Usnavi's best friend Benny, played by Corey Hawkins, Nina's father Kevin, played by Jimmy Smits, Usnavi's cousin Sonny, played by Gregory Diaz IV, along with Daphne Rubin Vega, Stephanie Beatriz, and Dasha Polanco as the salon girls Daniela, Carla, and Kuka. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, In the Heights, while not technically one of my favorite films from 2021, is a great movie musical. The story is relatable and serious, the cinematography and sets are great, the songs are catchy and awesome to dance to, the choreography is amazing, and several of the characters are pretty memorable in my opinion. So, I think everyone who loves Lin-Manuel Miranda's work should definitely watch this movie. And trust me, I'm really looking forward to his upcoming collaboration with Alan Menken in next year's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. As for my rating, I'll give it a 91% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next blog, where we reunite with the fastest thing alive, Mustang Power.